I was pretty happy with the sort of build quality to details. And building into Yellow Country Teeth was important to me too. So the idea of that, like that tail at the end of like whoop, 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 and then coming into Yellow Country Teeth was a cool effect. Yeah, it's a big song and it sits well where it is. To be honest, I didn't really think very much of it when we recorded it. It was not at all my favorite, but I get why people respond to it. I think a lot of it has to do with Sean's propulsive drumming, and his little hi-hat hits. It moves in a pretty helpful way. And probably the New Order, like the bass stuff, not starting on the root was a pretty important thing to me, and not just hanging around the kick either. Less of a root against the kick and more of a counter melody. And Tyler was a great bassist, and so he just kind of like moved wherever he wanted to. It wasn't sort of like a John Entwistle type of thing where it's just like way out. But everybody was encouraged to kind of like explore and not play in a like a regular fashion if they could help it. For songs like Yellow Country Teeth, it was pretty intentional to try to crack my vocals at those specific spots. And as opposed to, let's say, Upon This Tidal Wave of Young Blood, where it was pretty intentional to kind of smooth it out a little bit. I didn't know much of like Neutral Milk Hotel at the time. Like basically the little trick of I never plan to let go of the hand, I get why that's like people would latch onto that a little bit. I think Jeff Mangum does similar little things. Like he doesn't consider them tricks. I mean, neither do I, but it's like these little effects that kind of like draw people to the song. And the more I listen to Neutral Milk Hotel, who I love, the more I realize that Jeff had these little like bits in there that just kind of like pushed the song forward and made them a little bit more accessible as a result. And I know for me, as with him, like there's a guy named Chris Knox, and he had a band called the Tall Dwarfs, among others. And like he did things like what was the song that I used to cover it? It was a song about the onset of maturity or something like this. I can't remember exactly, but his phrasing was just so interesting to me. And that's kind of all I was trying to do. Just like let it ramp up vocally and let the phrasing kind of like carry the song in certain spots. Yeah, this one literally it was just and I think it might have been a practice where we just kind of started doing this and probably did it for like 3 minutes or something or 5 minutes. And I had a tape recorder. I like recorded all the practices, which is weird, but recorded all the practices and we didn't think very much of it. We're just like, oh, okay, yeah, whatever. And then I came back and I have I have a tape recording of me recording lyrics over the tape that I'd recorded in practice, like trying to figure out how to do it. I think they all came pretty quickly at the time. I think that was written in a night, And like a lot of the songs, it was essentially like a loop, more or less. The vocals kind of like signified where it would ramp up, once the dog's good, but like the band is doing the same thing, it's just sort of the vocals are. And I think lyrically it was good. I was almost under duress writing the lyrics because it was maybe the last song that was put together. And yeah, it was just kind of like messing around. It just happened pretty quickly, that one, and almost like just tacked on as an afterthought. Far, far away from West Virginia, I tried New York City, explaining that the sky holds the wind, the sun rushes in, try with a shotgun to shoot down all the bees that sting. Oh, this boy can use a little sting. Alright. For Yell Country Teeth, the subject matter came more from, like, I went to school in Connecticut, college. I went to in Connecticut college. So a lot of people were moving to New York trying to, advance themselves and their careers. And I think I knew people who were in the arts who were like trying to be involved in theater and other things. And I knew a lot of artists and musicians there anyway in the same boat from other colleges. And, the quality of like this city like chews you up and spits you out, type of thing. Like people come in with big intentions and big ideas. And already at the time I was starting to see things start to fray a little bit. And so that was more or less the idea, where people are coming from places like West Virginia, having grown up and trying to take on the big city and having, I don't know, suffering from a little bit of a naive and potentially narcissistic miscalculation of what that might mean. People go in with the right intentions, but also the wrong intentions. To me, I always was unnerved by people who desired to be noticed, which is kind of funny, being in my position and everything, or getting up on stage all the time. I do like communicating to an audience directly, but it was never my intention. Like, to me, the Beatles had it made, just like making albums in the studio and not really going out there too much. And I thought it's the same of Brian Eno. Like, anyway, so for me, I was very suspicious of people who just wanted to go to like make a name for themselves, regardless of what kind of art they were creating. You know what I mean? So it was a little bit of like it wasn't an attack. It was just an observation, that song. It wasn't pure pessimism, and it never really is. Like, I never have gotten in the direction of like Ian Curtis or something like this, where it's like, danceable, but if you like, you really dig into the lyrics, you're not wanting to dance that much. So this is, it was a little bit different. It was a little bit more of and kind of a weird song when you think about it, because I think I had one person in mind specifically, and it kind of follows this person's, like, it's just a glimpse into this person's New York City attempt. So, and that the one thing I'm a little bit not bothered by, but I think that G to F like break in the middle of the song, still when I play it now, I'm just like, what is this doing here? I mean, I think the audience kind of appreciates it, but I'm like, I don't know why this is here. So it's one of those where I look back and I'm like, okay, it kind of works, but not really. I would say it's staying at something like 5.5 minutes, was fairly intentional. It was just like no thought of radio play or anything like this. It was just like, we're just going to make a song. I mean, to be honest, I was surprised that anybody wanted to listen to this at all. Like, I just didn't expect myself to produce work that people, in a popular way wanted to hear. But yeah, I don't know. My friends told me when I was a little bit, I don't know if I was embarrassed by it, but some of my like music snob friends said it sounds a little bit like XTC, and I was like, okay, that's more validating than what I I had thought.